You got Leon D here, and we're going to talk about food. I'm not an expert on anything to do with food, but I've been around a long time, and I am a professional barbecuologist. I know food, I know what I like, I know what I don't like, I know a lot of things that you may not like. That's the intro for Leon D. Let's get it on. This is what I want to tell you. This whole summer, I've been traveling the world to look at different foods in different places, Europe, Australia, so I'm going to tell you about some places I went to and what I like, what I didn't like, and some of the misconceptions that you may have about places that I went to that you may want to go to. And you may have already been there and have a different opinion. Now, I'm not an expert on food, but I know what I like, I know what I don't like. And this may save you from things you may not like. We started our journey in Germany. In Germany, they love fried food, they love meat, they like a lot of pork. Now, I'm not a big fried food fan, but it's a lot better than eating boiled food that I ate when I was in Romania for 2 weeks. So you go there, and almost anything you want, they have. Now, I lived in Germany about 30, 40 years ago, and it's changed like most places do. If you don't change, you don't evolve, then you lost your life. You lost those years. So we get there, and the food, with the schnitzels and all this other food, a lot of fried potatoes, a lot of fried pork, and you have your grilled and your seared beef, which is good. But the thing that's interesting about Germany is that the prices are like the prices here. As far as going out and getting a meal, you go out to a nice restaurant, you get a bottle of wine, you get food for two, and you might spend 40, $50, which is standard, and you got better wine. So we left Germany and we went to Italy. Now, Italy is a country that is of two different types: Southern Italy and Northern Italy. One side is wealthy, one side eats very, let's say, very fancy looking food, and the other side eats, um, let's say, comfort food. So, Southern Italy is what we know as Italian food in America: your spaghetti, your pasta, a lot of food that we're familiar with. The food's very good. They have large breakfasts, and the price is actually cheaper than here. Now, let's talk about Northern Italy. When you get to Verona, Genoa, you get to Milan, ooh, you know, the food there is very, very pretty. It reminds me of France. Very pretty food, but to be honest about it, it's not my cup of tea. It's not my cup of tea. So, saying that, I like the food in Southern Italy, not necessarily the people as much as I like in Milan. Milan, or Northern Italy. Northern Italy is very clean, very easy to get around, nice roads, a lot of different things. Southern Italy is like hanging out with your homeboy. You're gonna go down and get some good food from the chicken shack. The chicken shack is where you're gonna say, I got $4, what can I get? They're gonna hook you up with some food that you're just gonna like. They are gonna hook you up. But now, let me tell you one thing that's really funny about most of Europe. They do not eat a lot of vegetables. You got to go, you got to go fight for a vegetable. And they all got gardens, and they all grow their own food, especially in northern Italy. You go to the Dolomites, everybody got their own little garden. They're cooking their vegetables, but they grow enough for their family. No one seems to have enough in the stores. And that's the part that really, really bothered me. You go out to dinner, people think I'm going to get this Caesar salad or this Italian style salad. No, you're not. They have those in their houses, but they don't have them on restaurant menus very often. They eat a lot of flatbread or pizza or whatever you want to call it this day and age. They eat a lot of that. And that is all cool and all dandy. But I want vegetables. With a nice meal, I expect vegetables. And, you're not going to get it. You got to really, really look for it. So Italy was cool. We left Italy and then we went to Switzerland. Switzerland is a small country. We went everywhere, all over Switzerland to get some food. We ate a lot of different places. Places that was upscale, places that was downscale. It didn't matter. Switzerland food is very, very expensive. I'm talking we went to McDonald's one morning for breakfast because we wanted some breakfast early in the morning. And the Italians are not the most manual labor intense people. Let's just say that. So we went to Switzerland, and the thing that Switzerland that was McDonald's, we ordered like two big breakfasts, orange juice, maybe a coffee, and it was like $55. It didn't bother nobody but me. It didn't bother any of these people in Switzerland. Now, Switzerland is a country that's really three countries when it comes to food. You got your German side, your Italian side, and your French side. Now, we stayed in the French side, so everything was super expensive when it comes to food. And Switzerland has a law. If you go to other parts of Europe, say France, Italy, or Germany, you are limited to what you can bring back food wise. Something like 4 pounds of meat. Because if you buy it in these other countries, it is super, super cheap. I mean, super cheap. So that's why you're going to see people, the border guards in Switzerland, they're not looking to see if you have a passport. They're not looking to see should you be in the country legally. They're looking to see how much food you'd have because they know. Depends how much food you have, they can tax it. And the tax rate in Switzerland is ridiculous. It's crazy. You guys think they're paying 9% sales tax. It's expensive in California or 6% in Maryland. You go to Switzerland, you're paying like you're paying 22% sales tax on everything you buy. But when you buy it on food, it really looks crazy. But here's the thing I like the most about it. When you buy stuff in Europe, everybody knows about VAT. So the price you see is the price you pay. And in Europe, they don't look for tips. They don't want a tip. If they do, they hide it very, very well. They're not looking for all that kind of stuff. So, whatever you see, you pay. But in Switzerland, you're going to pay a lot. So we left there, went to France. French food is very, very pretty. They believe in presentation. But the presentation, though, is kind of like a pretty girl. Nice to look at, but when it's all over, you're not going to be full. You know that. And the guy told me when I ordered a steak, and we spent like $200 for like 2 steaks and a bottle of wine. And the guy says, hey, when I got to order a steak, he says, this is not American size. I said, hey, no problem. I said, I was told the same thing when I was in Italy at Lake Como. And so he said, you want 100 gram or 200 gram? I just said, well, just give me 100 grams. No, that should be good. He goes, okay, no problem. He goes back, fixes my food, and I got 100 grams. Well, I wasn't thinking it was going to be 3 ounces or something like that. It's like you cut the steak 3 times and it's gone. I'm talking about these are small pieces of meat. And yet the price was like $60, $70. Even, converting from euros to dollars. Or just look at your credit card. That'll wake your ass up. But I was totally in shock when I said, this is all I get? The guy goes, yeah. So I said, okay. So the good thing about it is that, and it don't make it right, they gave me a few samplers from this chef special of the day. And when I say samplers, I'm not talking about a forkful. No. You take your tongue, lick it, it's gone. So it wasn't much. And they give you a lot of bread, which I'm like, okay, I didn't pay all this money for the bread. But he told me going into the meal exactly what I was going to have. I just didn't do the conversion. Once I saw the size of the meat, and it hit me that I spent $60 on this piece of steak for 100 grams. And I'm thinking to myself, I'd have been even more pissed to spend like $90 on 200 grams, which was like a small filet fignon. I would have really been off the chains if I would have paid for that. So I just said, okay. I didn't have the option going to McDonald's because I'm like, I'm gonna spend about $40 over there for a value meal, so can't go there. And I just said, what we're gonna do is we just gonna have breakfast in the morning, and I'll get some eggs because Switzerland, they do a decent breakfast, not like Italy, definitely not like Germany. So we left there, and the next trip we went back to Germany, and God, tell you what, after leaving, so France was all right with the meals, but like I said, it's like a pretty woman. You never full. The French believe in courses. They give you a lot of courses, but the prices are like the prices in the States. So, I didn't complain, but they give you a lot of courses, and the courses are very, very good. And if you eat all the courses, you're gonna be full. But the one thing the French do though that I'm not a fan of, and maybe some of you are, I don't like stuffed raw duck, you know, foie de gras and all this stuff. That's it doesn't even look good. And we saw it in Switzerland. I didn't pay much mind to it. They ate a lot of raw beef, and they would season it and do all this and all that. I don't care how much you season something raw, and you eat it raw, it cannot be that damn great. Because looking at it, I'm like, he took salt and pepper and put it on some raw beef, ground beef on top of that, which is the disease carrier, and he just served it. And the guy ate it like it was the best thing he ever had in his life. And I was thinking, hamburgers, sloppy Joe, hamburger, sloppy Joe, spaghetti. I'm thinking all the things that he could have, meatloaf, the things he could have made very easily in about 3 or 4 minutes because he had an open fire. He could have made all this stuff with the raw ground beef, and I would have been totally happy. But that's not what happened, though. That's not what happened. So, to each his own. But I was not going to ever consider that. So then we got to Germany, and we wanted apple strudel because, apple strudel is something they're famous for. Then, so we go to Freiburg near Stuttgart, and every place we went to was trying to find apple strudel, apple strudel, apple strudel. We went to Augsburg, Germany, because I was told that apple strudel is a Bavarian dessert. And so I said, okay, Augsburg is Bavaria, and we're going to fly out of Munich. So we'll find apple strudel. Went to about 15 places, could not find apple strudel anywhere. And they're looking at me like, you want something that we haven't made in years. And one place had an old lady, and she goes, yeah, I know how to make it, but I don't make it, I don't sell it, but I make it at home for my family. I was like, okay, it's not going to help me out. She goes, but I got a dessert for you that you'll like. She shows me the name, and I'm going to tell you, when you go through Europe, the best tool you're going to have is Google Translate. That's the best tool you're going to have. We had absolutely no problem with Google Translate. Even taking a photo or a snapshot, however you want to do it, Google Translate translated like in seconds. I'm doing 130 miles an hour on the German Autobahn, and they got signs, about danger, tunnel, and all this. Google Translate, it was translated within a second. But back to the apple strudel. So she said, I don't have apple strudel, I have a different dessert. And I said, cool, no problem. So I ordered this dessert, and she brings the dessert. It had like ice cream, and it has some kind of not yogurt, but some kind of like ice, American ice cream, Italian ice, and it had whipped cream on it. It had a couple cherries, but she brings it in like a cake mixing bowl, literally a gallon of ice cream. And I'm thinking, okay, for $6, I was not expecting this amount of dessert. And so I'm like, dessert could be a meal by itself, because I'm like, I can't eat all this. But being me, I'm gonna try. I said, I'm just gonna try. So the whole thing was kind of weird that I had this huge dessert for a cheap price. All the food in Germany was good and cheap. So if you're gonna go to Europe, and my thing is, if you want the best food, you either got to go to southern Italy or you got to go to Bavaria. But Germany has the whole country had good food. But my whole thing was that we had good food. Everybody knows the Brits can't cook. That's been known for years. The Brits can't cook. So don't go to London, because I've been there. I went there last year. So don't go to London or any place in the UK. Or I'm not a big Scandinavian because they eat a lot of cold dishes, and I don't like cold meats. I mean, I don't even like really delicatessen meat unless it's warmed up. That's just me. Some people can eat cold meals all day long, and they're cool with that. I'm gonna tell you right now, in Scandinavia, I think the beer was a little warmer than the food was. That's just me, because they eat a lot of cold things. But then again, they're Nordic countries, and they're out there by the by the Arctic Circle, and they're used to all that kind of stuff. But if you go to Europe, eat as much German food before you go into other countries. Now, in Austria, we didn't eat in Austria, but the Austrians eat a lot of food similar to the Germans. Matter of fact, Bavaria and Austria, they're very, very similar in a lot of different things. And even the language is almost similar. If you understand German, you understand Austrian. It wasn't a big deal. It's kind of like Spanish and Italian, or you can make out most of the words. But the German language, believe it or not, is not based. The English is based on the German language. A lot of words look the exact same. They may have a few extra characters, but it wasn't anything that you can't just read and get the idea within a couple of seconds. But one thing that you got to realize too when you go to Europe, customer service is not big on their list of things to work on. It is not big on the things to work on. And I'm gonna give you an example. 2, 3, 4 people, you guys order food at the same time. Don't expect to get your food at the same time. No. You'll get it when it finishes. And if you happen to, and if that steak takes more time or less time than that Wiener Schnitzel, you'll get them when they come out. You don't see heat lamps. You don't see a lot of things in America. But the good thing about it is that you don't see heat lamps. And the good thing about all that stuff is your food is tough. It's not been sitting there under a heat lamp for like 10 minutes while you're waiting on, someone else's lasagna or whatever it is that you're going to get from them. So that's a good thing about it. So make your plans. Go to Europe. The next episode, I'm going to tell you about my trip to Australia. So all the videos you see are my videos from when I travel through Europe, Australia, South America, wherever I go, even cities in America. All those videos are me and my cameras. So enjoy, and I'll see you next week. Peace out. This is DJ Leon D.